Hi, I'm Nicole, the host of The Break for Moms. Thank you so much for watching this archive broadcast. Hang tight 1 minute and our live viewers will be joining us. And I hope you enjoy the show today. Thanks so much for watching and taking a break with me. Enjoy the music while you're waiting. Hang tight, they're almost here, about 30 seconds. Hi, I'm Nicole, the host of The Break for Moms. Thank you so much for tuning into the show today. Whoops, I'm trying to stop my music. There we go. Welcome. This is a show for moms and dads and any caregivers of young children. I've got a great show for you today. This is a special featured broadcast on Friday. Normally my show starts on Mondays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. However, I'm so excited to continue to broadcast throughout the week as I test out Bidchat and become acquainted with the website. So if you are tuning in today, welcome to Bidchat as well. So let's talk for a second about some celebrity news and ways that as parents we are all alike. I know that as parents we all do things differently. The way we choose to parent in terms of behavior, the types of healthcare decisions we make, etc., etc. But really, there is so much that we have in common. We all have struggles with what to do with our children on a daily basis. So before we get into some hot topics in parenting, let's talk about some of the fun things that we have in common and celebrity parent and kid news. I just heard recently that earlier this month, Mario Lopez, who is the host of Extra and former cast member on Saved by the Bell, recently had a combined birthday party for his 6-year-old Gia and little brother 3-year-old Dominic. And the theme of their party was Finding Dory, which I could relate with because my 3-year-old daughter just had a birthday party recently and her theme was also Finding Dory. So, it was interesting for me to realize that even though Mario Lopez, an example of a big celebrity that everybody knows, still had this cute little birthday party, and the article that I read online even mentioned that his wife created custom labels for the party with the Dory theme using Avery, which is an awesome website and software that you can use on your computer to design custom birthday invitations, stickers, or any other type of label or project that you would want to use and make with your own custom design. So I thought that was very interesting that they also used the Avery software and that they had a Dory themed party. It makes our world a little bit smaller to realize that as parents, we really, really are a lot alike. With that said, let's talk about some other funny stuff going on in your life and in my life. So I have 3 kids if you're just tuning in for the first time today. My oldest is 5, he's in kindergarten. And then I have a middle child who is 3, she just turned 3, and a 1-year-old. And let me tell you for a minute about my middle child. For those of you that have 3 children or more and have a middle child, this is some typical middle child behavior. So my daughter sometimes is the one in the middle that doesn't always get all the attention, but let me tell you, I don't know if it's the fact that she's a girl or the fact that she's the middle child, but she has a mind of her own and she is very independent. She's used to me taking care of the baby and taking care of my older son's needs, and somehow in the mix of things, she tends to be the person that I run to last to help. So she's used to putting her shoes on, putting her coat on, getting in the car and doing things independently. So I dropped my son off at kindergarten the other day, and he was very slowly taking his backpack, hanging it on the rack, taking his coat off, hanging it on the rack out in the hall by his classroom, taking his lunchbox out, putting it up on the shelf, etc., etc. And meanwhile, my little Giada, my 3-year-old, as sweet and cute as she is, she walked right into his kindergarten classroom, looked back at me and said, "Mom, I'm going to school." She walked right to his desk, sat down in his chair, in his spot, grabbed his paper from his bell work for the morning, and even looked at the kid sitting across from her and grabbed his pencil and started writing on my son's paper. It was hilarious. All of the 5-year-olds in the class just took one look at her and were speechless. They didn't know what to say. And she just sat very nicely coloring and said, I'm at school. And she was not about to get up. She didn't look for me. She didn't look at the teacher. She wasn't worried about what anyone else was doing. She had her mind determined that she was going to sit in my son Troy's desk and she was going to be there for the day for kindergarten. So it's funny, sometimes people refer to little girls as being bossy, but I don't like that word. Even though my daughter is very independent and she has a mind of her own, I would like to encourage her to be a leader, and I would like to tell her that she has great leadership qualities and instill in my daughter that she can do anything that she wants to do. And instead of calling it bossiness, let's hone it in and let's figure out how she can be a leader. So I would be interested if you've got a girl that you are raising and you've dealt with the term bossiness. Maybe you use the term, someone else used the term, or even a teacher used the term. I'd like to hear how you handle that, because there is a lot of hype going on in the media right now about taking that word bossy for girls and turning it around, because it tends to be kind of a sexist term. We don't tend to call boys bossy ever. But for some reason, that term sticks with girls that are very independent and express their views and are bold in what they do in school or at home or et cetera, at the playground, you name it. So I'd be interested in you calling into the show now and telling me what your views are on girls and handling what we call as a society bossiness and how we can turn it around for good. So feel free to call in at any time. I'm going to continue to talk throughout the broadcast, but the lines are open. You can call in at any time. And if you're not sure how to bid to call in, let me tell you very, very quickly. All you have to do is click bid next to this video, and you'll see a pull down menu, and there are a bunch of different prices and options for bidding. Just bid the minimum today, 100 Bitcoins. You'll see a circle gold icon that stands for the Bitcoin. That's the currency on Bidchat. And if you click on that for 1 minute, you'll get a 1 minute call with me, and I can extend the call for 1 minute as a bonus today. If you don't have any Bitcoins and you don't want to spend any money, never fear. All you have to do is click the heart to follow the show. Look for the heart icon on your left side of the screen, and I will get a notification after the show that I have a new follower, and I will go ahead as a way of saying thanks and immediately send you 100 Bitcoins after the show. So you don't have to spend any money. It's my way of saying thanks to you. If you don't want to call into my show, that's okay too. Feel free to check out the many different wonderful broadcasts that are on Bidchat, however you would like to do it, and use those coins. It's my gift to you just for taking a break from your busy schedule as a parent today to watch my show. And with that said, I'm going to move on. So if you're just tuning in, we just talked about some celebrity news and Mario Lopez and his kids celebrating their birthdays and the Dory themed party they had, as well as the hot topic about girls and the term bossy and what we do about that term and how we can kind of turn it around to make it more positive. And instead of using the word bossy, maybe talk about girls as leaders and honing in those skills in a positive manner. Now let's move on. Let's talk about the tip of the day. This segment is a segment where I share some important tips and resources, either from research I've done or from experts that I will have either call into the show or sitting next to me on this Chase Lounge to share information that I think is relevant to parents and will help make your life as a parent much easier. So today I want to talk about a topic that is near and dear to my heart: music. Long before I was ever a live streaming broadcaster, I was a music teacher, and I worked in the public schools in the Metro Detroit area for 6 years as a vocal and instrumental music teacher. So I can tell you hundreds of stories about how music changes the life of kids of all ages. But I don't want you to just take it from me and from my experience. I want to refer to a very awesome charity, a nonprofit called VH1 Save the Music. If you go to www.vh1savethemusic.org, use the number 1 in the title, you will come across a host of information about very relevant statistics ranging from neurologists and neurologic magazines talking about the brain, as well as from music educators and various teachers that support the fact that music helps in so many areas of development in children of all ages. And of course, as a music teacher, I'm going to be a little bit biased because I had to teach music for a living, and I want music to be alive in the schools, but I also want to share from my own personal experiences with my kids at home. So I have younger kids, but this can apply to kids of all ages, really. Music is great for transitions, number one. At home, when I'm changing a diaper, or I'm trying to get my kids in the car, or I want them to start cleaning up their blocks, I start singing, or I play some music. It instantly changes the tone, it changes their mood and behavior, and it gets them to focus. Music helps kids and adults to focus better. And it works on both the left and right side of our brains. It helps to make connections between brain cells. And one of the ways that I use music in transitions is I like to sing the cleanup song. If you've ever watched Barney, the Barney show, they have the cleanup song. I won't sing it for you now, but I'll post information on my blog, which I'll tell you a little bit about at the end of the show. And you can learn a little bit more about how you can use music in the home. So we sing a cleanup song when we clean up, and that helps my kids to help clean up. We also sing when we're doing diaper changes with my 1-year-old who does not like to hold still. I simply give her something to hold in her hand and I start singing. And instantly she smiles. Whatever she was trying to do, she stops because she's focused on me singing. You don't have to have a beautiful voice. You don't have to be a trained musician. All you have to do is sing. Kids love to hear singing. Now, if you have an older child, let's talk about communicating with your child. We spend a lot of time in the car with our kids, don't we? I know I do, and I've just got little ones. So if I think about all of the years to come where I drive kids to school, to soccer practice, to dance rehearsal, the list goes on and on. We go so many places in the car nowadays. And sometimes we don't make good use of that time. So I want to tell you, if you spend a lot of time with your kids in the car like I do, music can be a great means for opening up a conversation with your teens. If you have a teen that doesn't like to talk about what's going on at school or problems that they're having, simply put on a song that you have on a CD or something you could quickly pull up on the radio or on satellite radio, whatever you have in your car, and play music that has words that you want to speak to your child and have them hear. Sometimes they don't want to listen to parents, but they will listen to music. They are always listening to music. Kids love music, and you might have to make it a type of style of music that they like, but find something that speaks to them, and you can do less talking and more listening and see what happens. I challenge you to do that and call into the show and tell me if that worked for you, because I know as a teacher who used to teach 5th and 6th graders, oftentimes when we sang different songs and performed different music, suddenly kids would be raising their hand and talking about the words and relating those words to their life and things going on at home. And I usually didn't even have to poke or prod very much. They just instantly volunteered information to me from listening to music and hearing those words. So I encourage you to use music for older students to get them to talk and communicate. And music also is a great way to build self-esteem and confidence when kids are performing. It's a platform for giving constructive criticism in a way that's safe. So if kids are involved in choir or band or private music lessons, it really does encourage them to be able to take criticism and not take it negatively, but as a way to improve themselves, and that they're worthy enough that they can get better at something. And if they stick with it, they will see that they do get better. So those are just a few tips related to music. And of course, I want to share some other statistics related to the brain, and you can get these again at vh1savesthemusic.org. They have a wonderful area on the website called Why Music, and if you click on that tab on the website, you'll see all kinds of reputable resources that talk about all of the things that I wanted to talk about today. So another thing related to the brain is that music has a way of stimulating memory. Do you remember songs from when you were a kid that you still sing today? Why do you remember those songs? Is it because you practiced them hundreds and hundreds of times? Probably not necessarily. It's because music helps with memory and that portion of the brain. Research has been shown that Alzheimer's patients actually can have some of their memory come back when music is involved. So if you've ever seen the movie The Notebook, I know that's an older movie, but it's one of my favorites. And the main character in the movie, the woman who has Alzheimer's, there's a scene where as a senior who is really at the end of her road with Alzheimer's, she is able to suddenly sit down at the piano and play a song that she played in her youth. And it's amazing. And it's not just because it's in the movies. It's true that music does help with memory, even in Alzheimer's patients. So consider those tips. This is kind of a big tip of the day, but really consider music. As parents, we have many tricks in our bag, but sometimes we forget about the simple things like music. So I challenge you at home, if your kid's having a rough day and they're being cranky, put on some music and see what happens. Maybe it'll change their tone and change how the rest of your day goes. Okay, moving on. Have you ever had an awkward moment with your kids? I know as a mom of little kids, there are a lot of crazy and awkward moments that I've had, mainly because I have 3 little ones close in age, and sometimes it's hard to manage them and do other things at the same time. The other day, someone knocked at my door, and it ended up being a man from my local city that was coming to change our water meter in the basement. And currently we have, I guess, an old-fashioned water meter, and the new ones, I believe, are some type of digital meter. Of course, I couldn't hear the whole explanation from him because I had 3 little kids, age 5 and under, that were pulling on my leg and screaming and needed diaper changes. So anyhow, he asked if it was a good time to come in because he had been leaving notices at my door and I had missed all of the prior notices. I don't know what happened. I'm sure it had something to do with the fact that I have 3 little kids at home. So I said, of course, well, since I actually opened the door, which is rare, I don't usually open my front door because I never know who's at the front door, and with 3 little kids, you never can be too careful. But anyhow, I was waiting for a package, so the door happened to be open, so I let him in, and he came down to the basement, but of course I wanted to keep my kids with me because I didn't know this strange man from the city that claimed to be a waterman. He did have a legit tag, so of course I did let him in, but I didn't know him. So I brought all 3 of my kids down to the basement to play. We have a carpet area with toys. And he was starting to work on taking out the old water meter to put the new one in. During this time, which was only 20 minutes, not 1, but 2 of my little girls both had a dirty diaper. I know. So not only did it smell terribly in the basement, but I didn't know what to do because I didn't want to take them upstairs to privately change their diaper because I couldn't leave this man alone in the basement. I had a lot of things, valuable items in the basement, and my other son, my son was in the basement. So I quickly ran upstairs to grab some diapers and wipes, which I normally don't keep in the basement because it's not a finished basement. It's just a little toy play area. And I started to change my 1-year-old's diaper. Okay, she was the first one that had the dirty diaper. So I quickly changed the diaper. I'm running back and forth upstairs trying to dispose of the diaper because it smells in the basement. I'm wondering if the water meter guy realizes that it smells and why it smells. I'm hoping he doesn't think it's me. So I'm kind of very overtly saying, okay, everybody, I need to change Karina's diaper. She has a dirty diaper, hoping that the guy hears me so he knows it's not me that stinks. So I change her diaper. I'm relieved. I quickly run upstairs as fast as I can to throw it out the door to the garage so that it does not smell up the house. And then all of a sudden, my son shouts out in the middle of the basement, "Ew, what smells?" Mom, Karina, or Giada, I should say, my second daughter, who is 3 and is 75% potty trained, except for number 2, he shouts to me that she now smells. And my 3-year-old, my beautiful, sweet 3-year-old, looks at me and very comfortably and confidently says, "Mom, I have to go a lot and I'm not done." And she says it so loud that I know the water meter guy heard everything. So I'm thinking to myself, oh great, this is so embarrassing. I'm trying not to laugh actually because I'm so personally embarrassed by the fact that I just had one child have a dirty diaper, and now my 3-year-old, who is very verbal and looks like she could be 5, is announcing to the world, including the water meter guy in the basement, that she has a dirty diaper and she's not done going. So I'm trying to kind of keep her quiet because I don't want to continue this discussion with this guy listening to everything. So I end up bringing a pull-up downstairs and changing her and getting that out of the way. But it was so embarrassing. I know I'm laughing about it now, but it was just really, really embarrassing because I think it was more embarrassing because my older daughter looks like she should be fully potty trained and she's not yet. So if you're dealing with a potty training toddler and they're not yet fully trained and you've had an embarrassing moment, feel free to call into the show now. I would love to hear from you because this is a funny topic and it's one that puts a lot of pressure on parents. But I want to let you know, and I shared this on an earlier broadcast, my pediatrician, who is a good friend of the family that I have seen since I was a young girl told me not to worry. It is actually inappropriate developmentally to expect a 3-year-old to be fully potty trained. I know this is contrary to trends now that, you know, a lot of parents are trying to get their kids potty trained by 2 and 2.5, and many of them are very successful, but not everyone is, and it's not your fault. Let me tell you again, it's not your fault. If you've got a toddler that's potty training, know that they are going to train when they are ready. And let me tell you from experience, from my 5-year-old who trained in a matter of a week, when they're ready, and they're done. So either you're going to clean up a lot of messes right now, or you're going to change more diapers or pull-ups in my case. But either way, know that there aren't many college students that aren't potty trained, so eventually your child will be potty trained. And with that, let's move on to the next segment. We're going to talk a little bit about this week's contest. I talked in great detail on my last show on Monday, which is the regular day for the weekly broadcast for the Break for Moms, but I want to tell you about it today in case you're listening. I had a dear friend of mine and consultant from Usborne Books on the show talking about the value of literacy and nonfiction and hooking kids into reading from the time that they are little. So in honor of literacy and Usborne Books, my friend and I are teaming up to give away 1 free book from Usborne Books to 1 lucky follower of the show. So you don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to call into the show today. All you have to do to be entered into the contest is, number 1, click the heart on the side of this screen, on the side of the profile for the Break for Moms. It will turn red, and then you know that you are an official follower of the show. Second, all you have to do is click next to that heart icon is a circular, squarish text bubble type icon. It looks like it's for private messaging, and it is. Click on that and type WIN, win. I will get that message, and I will see your name with that message if you are registered with an account on Bidchat, of course, and I will know that you are entered into the contest. Next Monday, live on the show at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, somewhere between 1 and 2 p.m. at the end of the broadcast, I will be live pulling a name out of a hat, and I will be announcing the winner for that contest. So in order to get entered into that drawing, all you have to do is click the heart to follow the show and send me a message with the word win. And if you go on my blog, which is www.thebreakformoms.com with the number 4, you can find out more details about the books that you have a chance to win. There are 4 listed on the website, and you can learn a little bit more about Usborne Books and contact my friend and consultant, Emily Tosh, if you have any questions about Usborne Books, becoming a seller, or just learning more about how you can purchase books for your family. If you're a homeschooler, there are some great books for text and supplementing schoolwork at home as well. So I hope you enter that contest. So far, we don't have too many entrants, so you have a really great chance to win. So I'm looking forward to announcing the winner next week. So again, I want to remind you, this is a special broadcast. But the broadcast, oh, I see a message in the corner. Sorry, my eyes are going back and forth because someone is messaging me right now during the show, which is kind of hard to do. Jessica, I see your message, but because I'm live streaming right now, I can't fully look and give you my full attention, so I hope that you are able to get into this broadcast and watch and call in if you can. If not, send me a message after the show, anyone with troubleshooting questions, and I will be sure to answer those questions. You can message me right on Bidchat within the private messaging system on my profile, or you can send me a message on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook at The Break for Moms with the number 4. Okay. So moving on, I talked to you a little bit about social media and how you can find me and the show on social media. I want to tell you a little bit more about how you can give me feedback on the show. I see I have 17 thumbs up. I'm going to scoot back a little bit because I feel like I'm a little bit close to my camera right now. I see 17 thumbs up, so thank you for the 17 of you that are giving me thumbs up. That makes me so happy. That is the best way to give me instant feedback. If I'm talking about a topic that you really relate with or you really like or you want to hear more about, just simply give me a thumbs up. I see it as the show is broadcasting live, and that makes me know that you like what you're hearing, you can hear me and see me well, and that you are enjoying the show. We have 50 viewers right now, which is awesome because this is not my normal regular day to broadcast, so this is a huge bonus. So thank you for taking your time and taking a break from your daily routine. for parenting to come and hear what I have to say and learn about the show. I hope you will tune in next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're on the West Coast, that's 10 a.m. your time. So maybe you're just finishing breakfast, or you've dropped the kids off at school and you're heading home, or maybe you're at work and you're taking a quick break. Whatever the case may be, know that for moms and caregivers of children on the go, Bidchat has an app. It is available at the App Store for Apple devices, as well as the Google Play Store for Android devices. So you can go ahead and download that. But know one thing: if you do not have a secure and strong connection, your live streaming experience will not be the best that it can be. So keep in mind, when you're operating on Wi-Fi and operating through an app, it's not as strong of a connection. If you want the best live streaming experience, you want to do two things. Number one, you want to choose a well-supported browser such as Google Chrome or Firefox, and you can download either of those free on the internet. Both websites are safe and secure for downloads, and they have downloads for both your PC as well as Mac. So check that out if you do not have one of those browsers. That will greatly improve your experience. I'm currently using Firefox right now, but I also have Google Chrome. And also, you want to make sure that you have the best possible internet connection as far as what you have through your phone or your computer. I am going to recommend the computer with a hardline connection, especially if you are a fellow broadcaster or you're thinking about broadcasting on Bidchat or another live streaming website. Keep in mind that when you have an Ethernet cord hooked from your modem to your computer, that hardline connection is going to be much more secure. So those are a few tips to improve your live streaming experience. If you are a fellow broadcaster on Bidchat, I want to say hello to you and give a shout out to you. I would love for you to call into the show. I haven't had any callers yet today, so I'm hoping that some people will be able to call in. I know sometimes it's hard with the connection, and if there are any glitches with the website or the weather is up or whatever, depending on where you're from and what your connection is like, sometimes it can be difficult to get on, especially in these early days on Bidchat, but I promise you, every day the website and the live streaming experience is getting better and better, and the broadcasters are getting better and better. So I hope you as callers will practice, whether it be calling into my show or another show, because it's great feedback for us as broadcasters, and it's great practice for you, and it's fun. It is so much fun. If you have a moment after the show, click on my moments as it's listed on my profile. These are moments specifically with myself and someone calling into the show. And all broadcasters who are currently actively broadcasting will have stored archived moments in their profile. So those moments are with another caller. If you want to see a full broadcast, you click on full broadcast. But if you just want to catch the calls between the broadcaster and the viewer calling in, click on moments, and that will take you directly to those moments. And know that if you call into a show, you can actually take those moments and share those with your friends and family on social media, which is really cool. And you can even email them. So if you're not on social media, then you can just simply take the link and email it to a friend or family member or anyone that you want to share this show with, or any of the other shows on Bidchat. So keep that in mind. That's really fun, and that's a convenient way to tell others about Bidchat. And with that said, I want to talk to you a little bit about next week's show and give you a teaser, because again, this is a special broadcast, but we're going to have more information on next week's show. So in addition to talking about music and celebrity news and of course our tip of the day and funny stories and experiences, we're also going to talk next week about issues in health related to parenting. And did you know that 80% of women in the household are the person who makes the healthcare decisions for the family? That is a study that I recently shared on the show from the American Psychological Association. And whoops, oh, my music just came back on. We are live, so you never know what's going to happen. Sorry about that, I bumped my computer mouse. Anyhow, healthcare decisions are made primarily by women in families. So I think it's important to talk about healthcare and health-related issues with kids on the show, whether you have an older child or a younger child. There is so much to talk about. And next week, I'd like to cover back to school and flu shots and how to keep our kids safe. Whether you're a fan of vaccines or not, I want to cover both sides of the issue and hear from you and hear your opinion. We'll talk a little bit more about holistic ways to keep your kids healthy, as well as current research on vaccines and the flu shot and whether or not This year's flu shot is expected to be beneficial. I know some years it's more beneficial than others, which is the main reason why people sometimes choose not to do flu shots. So whatever your opinion, whatever your view is with your kids, it's okay. All of them are valued on the show. It's not just about my opinion. I want to hear all sides, and I want to bring all sides to you. That's my job as the broadcaster, and your job is to simply listen and call in and give me feedback so that we can make this the best show possible. So you can look forward to that in the full broadcast for next week. And with that said, I want to talk to you about one more segment for this show and for future shows. And this segment is called, What Would You Do? As parents, we are faced with many decisions, and we want to do the right thing with our kids, but sometimes we don't know what to do. So as a parent of younger kids, I often seek help from mentor moms and mentor parents to give me advice. So if you are an older mom or older parent and you're more seasoned, I would love to have you call into the show during this segment or a future What Would You Do segment to give me advice. So the topic of the day related to what would you do is, what would you do if you needed to take your little one somewhere and you needed to run an errand, and maybe it involved picking up a child from school, and one of your kids fell asleep in the car. Let's say that your child gets picked up right at the door of their school. They're waiting outside by the door, and your car is parked in the parking lot. And maybe it's the first space in the parking lot, or maybe it's a little bit further in the parking lot. Do you leave your kid that's sleeping in the car and lock the door and go to pick up your child? I'm wondering. Now, I know a lot depends on the weather. Of course, I would never, ever leave a sleeping child in the car if it's hot. But if it's comfortable in the car, not too hot, not too cold, the car is not running, but the car is locked, and my child is sleeping, and my older child that I need to pick up at school is right outside the door, and I can see my car, and I'm simply just walking to grab him and walk back to the car, I personally feel like that's okay. But sometimes I still worry that other moms are looking at me, or maybe looking in my van while I'm walking up to get my other child and wondering where I am and thinking I'm a bad parent. Have any of you faced that problem or had that issue and wondered what to do? I'm curious, so I would love to have you call into the show and tell me about that, and tell me what your opinion is on that. Am I being a bad parent by leaving a sleeping child in the car if I have the door locked and it's comfortable in the car and I just simply need to run across the parking lot to grab my child? So that's one situation where I'm wondering, what would you do? Here's another situation for parents of older kids. I haven't faced this situation yet. I know what I did as a kid and what my parents did, but we're living in different times. And oftentimes what we do today as parents is a lot different than what our parents did. So let's say your teenager, or maybe your preteen, your 12-year-old adolescent, boy or girl, is wanting to go to the mall or to the movies with a friend. Do you let your kids walk the mall by themselves without you there? If they're 12? Do they need to be 15 or 16? Do they need to be able to drive? If they're able to drive, does that mean it's okay for them to be unsupervised at the movies or at the mall? I'm wondering, what is the age where they can be unsupervised walking around the mall, going to the movies? Does it matter if they're a boy or a girl? I have both a boy and two girls, so I'm wondering, does it make a difference? Would it be okay to have a 12-year-old boy with a friend at the movies by himself? I personally don't think so, but then what is the right age? Is it 16? Is it 15? Is it when they suddenly turn 13? What is the big difference? I'm wondering ahead of time as a parent, because of course I'm worrying about everything there is to worry about, as most parents do. That's part of being a parent. But I want to know what you think about that. I'm also wondering, for kids that are teens, if you drop them off at a friend's house and they're just hanging out with their friend, what if a parent isn't there? Is it okay? What would you do? Go ahead and call in now if you're watching and tell me what you would do, especially if you have older kids, because quite honestly, I'm not sure what to do. My inclination is to be very strict with my kids and not let them go to a friend's house if no one's home, not let them go to the mall by themselves. But what happens when they're able to drive and they're independent and they can just get in the car and go? Unless I take the keys away, they're free to do, to some degree, what they want to do. So go ahead and call in and weigh in on that, or you can send me a message on social media or on Bidchat and let me know what you would do. I'm curious to hear what you would do. And with that said, I am going to urge you, if you're just tuning into this broadcast, we now have 7 more viewers since the last call out that I did to follow the show. So if you're one of the 7 just joining, welcome. I'm Nicole, the host of The Break for Moms, and this is a show for you as parents, moms and dads of kids of all ages, but roughly age 0 to 18, at which point kids graduate from being a dependent of your household and they begin to take care of themselves. However, if you have an adult child that you are still a caregiver to, then this show would be pertinent to you as well. Also, if you are a mentor mom, a more seasoned mom or dad even, and you're watching the show saying, I remember when, then feel free to call into the show. I would love to hear from you, especially during our What Would You Do segment, because I have younger kids and I'm facing a lot of things for the first time with my oldest, who is 5. So I would love for you to call and weigh in on topics that I'm talking about and give me your advice. Or maybe you're just a little bit ahead of me and you have a 10-year-old or an adolescent that's a preteen or early teen and you want to weigh in. I would love to hear from you. I would love to have your feedback. And you can do that one of 2 ways. You can either call into the show and be live with me, which I know sounds a little bit scary to some of you, but it's really, really fun, I promise. And I will not judge you. You don't have to be fixed up. You don't have to have makeup on or have perfect clothes on. Of course, I'm broadcasting live and my archive broadcast will be shared with lots of people. So I'm going to put some makeup on and do my hair. But don't feel that you have to do that. We're all moms and parents and, life is crazy and it's busy. And if you're dying to call in but you feel like you don't look right, just call in, please. I would love to hear from you. And actually, it would brighten my day if you show your imperfect side, because as you've seen, even with this live streaming broadcast, I'm not perfect. I hit my computer mouse a minute ago and the theme music to the show started playing all of a sudden in the wrong place. So, I get it. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. And I don't expect any of you to be. Okay, so let's say you're too nervous or you don't know how to call into Bidchat and you want to figure it out later after the show. That's fine. But you want to share your opinions with me. That would be fabulous. Here's how you can do it. You can either message me in the private messaging system within Bidchat on my profile, or you can reach out to me on social media on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at The Break for Moms with the number 4 in the title. Or you can also reach out to me through my new email through my blog. My blog is www.thebreak4moms.com with the number 4. And you can send a comment on the blog, or you can simply message me at Nicole at thebreak4moms.com. Sorry, I'm saying because I just created this new email to make it easier for people to get in touch with me. So it's my first name, Nicole, at thebreak4 with the number 4 moms.com. So if you send me that message, it'll go right to my inbox, and I will get your message after the show. And I am very interested to hear what you all have to say. But I want to make sure that you click the heart on this profile, the show's profile, to follow me so you get instant notifications when I'm going live. So if you're distracted with the kids and you forget that I'm broadcasting next Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern time, you will get a notification that pops up and you will be able to catch the broadcast. Even if it's halfway through, that's okay. Join it anytime that you can. It's live. If you miss the broadcast, you have a chance to watch the saved broadcast. And here's how you can watch the archive broadcasts. You can either go to this profile of the show on Bidchat and click on archive broadcasts and click on the full broadcast to watch the whole show, or click on the moments if there's a specific caller that you want to watch. Or you can go to YouTube or eventually Vimeo. I'm trying to get Vimeo up and running for my account for the show. But YouTube or my blog. The YouTube account is The Break for Moms, again with the number 4. I know I keep repeating that, but I want to make sure you get it right so you can find those saved shows. Or up on my blog. Each time I do a new blog post, I'll include the current saved broadcast, and I'll also have a separate menu within the website, thebreakformoms.com, that simply says watch or watch the show. I haven't created the tab yet, but it will say watch. And then you can click on that and you will see a pull down menu with all of the broadcasts that have been posted to YouTube and shared within the blog and my new website. So I hope that you will watch the previous broadcasts. Keep in mind, I'm just getting started with Bidchat and live streaming. This is new for me. I've done a lot of on-camera work in the past, and I was, as I mentioned earlier in the show, a music teacher, but Live streaming on a new platform like Bidchat is so new to me, and it's very, very technical. And there are so many things that I still want to learn how to do to improve the show and make it even better for you as the viewers. So keep that in mind. There's a bit of a learning curve on my end as well as your end. So I understand if you're not ready to call into the show yet, or if you're not quite sure how to message me within this profile. I'll keep sharing information with each broadcast on how to do that until I feel like viewers are comfortable. So don't feel bad if you can't figure it out, or if your connection wasn't just right today. Know that if for some reason this connection times out or suddenly I disappear from the screen, I may have gotten booted off the live streaming platform, or you may have gotten kicked off. Hang tight, stay with the program. If it's a problem on your end, simply click the half circle with the arrow on your browser to refresh your browser. That is a quick way to try and fix the problem. If it's a problem on my end, just hang tight on this profile page on Bidchat and I will log back in and get the live stream going. If that happens, I usually label the broadcast part 2 so that after the fact, when you look at the archive broadcast, you don't get confused if you see 2 with the same date. Occasionally it does happen for whatever reason. A caller calls in and I might get kicked off and I have to come back on. And it's a little bit of a process to get back on to live stream. I have to go through a series of steps and title my broadcast and decide on how much charity I want to donate to, which, by the way, before I forget, 5% of all proceeds of this show go to the charity of the week. Last week it was Smile Train. I believe the new one this week is Rock the Vote and Vote Latino, but that could be just for the celebrity broadcast. I can't remember and I need to check on that. However, 5% regardless goes to the charity of the week. So know that we together are changing social media for good. So any money that you spend calling into my show or another show will go to charity, whether it be the charity of the week, or if the broadcaster is a verified broadcaster, celebrity broadcaster, or major influencer, they may choose to donate 50% or more to charity, in which case they can choose the charity of their choice based on a list of choices on Bidchat. So keep that in mind when you look at my profile or other broadcasters' profiles. You can look and see which charities, and there is an option to donate directly to a broadcaster's charities. If you don't want to call into a show but you do want to donate, you can do that as well. And of course, if you really like what I'm saying and you just want to give me a little tip, that's great too. It helps to fund the show, which right now I am funding with my own money, using my lights that I've improved, and a nice HD camera, and my backdrop, which I'm always trying to improve and hopefully will change with the seasons and with holidays and different themes for the show. But all that costs money, so I'm just starting out. I don't expect anyone to necessarily fund my show, but know that if you feel so inclined to give a tip for the show, or boost my influencer score for the show, to help this show to come up higher in the news feed on Bidchat, you can do that as well, so that other moms and dads can find me and find the show and get help and the support and the resources that they need. If this is just your first time tuning into the show, I want to tell you a little bit more about my motivation for starting this show. I apologize for those of you who may have heard it in the last broadcast, but it's really important, so I feel that I need to say it again. So when I first became a mom for the first time, I felt really lonely, and I felt like I didn't have a lot of support from other moms in my same season of life. Of course, I had my own mom and family members who are moms, and my sister who is a little bit ahead of me in the season of motherhood that she's in. But I didn't have anybody that I felt like I could really connect with in my season. I had a few friends that were moms, but they were out of state, they weren't nearby. So I didn't have anyone to turn to, and I really needed that support. So fortunately, I did reach out to other moms through a local group called Real Moms, which is similar to a MOPS group, and it's a support group for moms specifically. And I made some new friends that are moms, and they have changed my perspective on what it means to be a mom and my role and my purpose, and how important it is to share in that purpose and that role with other moms and other parents. It truly does take a village to raise a child. I know, speaking of politics, I know Hillary Clinton often used that phrase, so it's kind of cliche, and I'm not necessarily supporting or not supporting her. But I want to let you know that there is a lot of truth to that. You can't do it alone as a parent. If you try to do it alone, you will be very frustrated, you will feel very overwhelmed and stressed, and it will impact your health and your ability as a parent. So keep that in mind. You need to reach out for help, whether it be coming on this show as a caller and asking for help, or messaging me, or just simply watching to get tips and feel like you're not alone. By sharing my personal stories, I hope that it will encourage you to feel like you're not alone in this journey, and that things that you're experiencing, other moms and other parents are experiencing too. So with that said, if you don't have a support group, I hope that this show will be a support group for you. And of course, I encourage you to reach out to people in your community. If you're new to your community, you can search for MOPS, M-O-P-S, which traditionally stands for Mothers of Preschoolers. However, I know many local city programs have expanded to open up to moms and caregivers of young children that are older than the preschool age. So check that out in your area. It's a great way to meet other parents, as well as your local library. Last week, in the show where we talked about resources for parents and books, we also talked about how some of the things I mentioned on the show, some of the books that I talked about, you could get at your local library. Your local library most likely has a lot of resources for parents, including meet and greet play groups for parents to connect with other parents. So I encourage you to check that out if you haven't already. I am very involved with my local library, and it's a great way to meet other people from your area that are in your same season of life, especially if you have younger kids. But if you have older kids as well, there are a lot of programs at libraries for older kids. So with that said, I want to encourage you to call into the show again. I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. I haven't had a caller yet. So I'm really patiently waiting. So I hope you'll call in, or at least give me a thumbs up, so I know that you maybe want to call in, but you can't figure out how to call in. That's okay too. I will be patient and I will wait, and you can call in at any time. I will be here every Monday live at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, that's 10 a.m. for the West Coast. So good morning to all of you on the West Coast. To those in the East Coast, good afternoon to you. You're probably finishing up lunch with your kids, or maybe you're on your lunch break at work if you are a working mom or caregiver, or maybe you're on the go and you stop to pull up Bidchat on your cell phone or other mobile device such as your iPad or your tablet. So good for you for taking a chance to take a break from your daily routine. We need to do that as moms and parents. If we do not take time for ourselves, we will not be the best parent that we can be. And I know that that's advice that I need to take as well. Sometimes we put everything into our kids, but it's very important that you take that time to take a break. Hence the name of the show, The Break from Moms. And of course, many of the details and the tips and the resources that I share on the show are just as pertinent to dads. And one of these days I will have a show specifically for dads. So make sure that you tell the men in your life that are parents about the show. I hope that they will join in. You can share the archive broadcast with them if they're feeling a little bit too shy to call into the show, or let you know that they're watching. They can watch it in the comfort of their own home when no one is watching. So hi to all of you, regardless of whether you're a mom or a dad or whatever type of caregiver you are, a teacher, a nanny, a babysitter, a pediatrician who cares for children of all ages. Know that you are welcome on the show as well. I'm going to give a plug for anyone that is interested in co-broadcasting from me, either as a caller into the show to share tips and resources as an expert, or by sharing a pre-taped segment, which eventually I will be able to incorporate into the show through some special software called ManyCam, which I'm still trying to figure out. So if you're interested in being an expert and being featured on this show for moms and caregivers of children, I would love for you to reach out to me. Again, I'm going to tell you how you can contact me one more time. Sorry for being repetitive, but I want to make sure, in case you're just tuning in, that you hear all of the details for how you can reach out to me. Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Just search for The Break for Moms with the number 4. You can check out my new and improved blog and website, www.thebreak4moms.com, again with the number 4. You can also even message me on YouTube, where my archive broadcasts are going to be saved. Just go to youtube.com and search The Break for Moms, and that will give you another opportunity, as well as messaging right here on Bidchat. All you have to do is make sure you are signed up for an account. You cannot call into the show or interact through private messaging with broadcasters without signing up for an account. So if you haven't done that, and that's why you couldn't call into the show today or message me, please make sure you do that. You don't have to give out a ton of personal information. All you have to do is give your name, nickname, and come up with URL for your personal account, your own nickname that you will appear as when you interact on Bidchat through calling or messaging. And then you have an account. Come to this show on the profile page at any time, whether I'm broadcasting live or after the show, and click on that heart that you see, the little heart icon. It will turn red so you know that you did it right, and I will get a notification that I have a new follower. And let me tell you what, I will go ahead and send you 100 free Bitcoins just for being a new follower. And all of my followers that are watching right now, hopefully you got those 100 free Bitcoins. If you didn't, please reach out to me on Bidchat, message me real quick and let me know that you didn't get those. You can message me by clicking on the icon right next to the heart, which looks like a little speech bubble or text icon. And if you click on it, opens up the private messaging system, and just say, hey, I'm not sure what to do, or I didn't get those Bitcoins, or hey, I'm a new follower and I would love to be an expert on your show. Whatever you want to share with me, go ahead and do it. You can do it directly through Bidchat. That's the quickest and easiest way. Again, just click on that little, it's kind of like a circular square speech bubble text icon right next to the heart icon, and click on that. It opens up private messaging so no one else but me will see the message that you exchange with me, and I can exchange a message back. We can talk back and forth. So whatever you need, any feedback you have, any questions, concerns, feel free to send those to me, and I will check that as soon as possible after the show, of course, because while I'm live streaming, I can't do that. That would be way too much going on at the same time, and no one wants to watch me put my head down as I'm typing a message. So anyhow, thanks so much for watching. I want to wrap up this broadcast because it's almost 2 o'clock, and I want to respect the time of the other broadcasters that will be coming up at 2 o'clock Eastern time. I don't want to dip into their broadcast time or take away from their viewership. So know that you can continue to stay on Bidchat. There will be other live broadcasts popping up all the time, day and night. So I encourage you to check them out. Hello to all of my friends that are broadcasters all over the U.S. and eventually throughout the world as we get more and more broadcasters. The neat thing about Bidchat is it allows us to interact with people from all over the world, which is so exciting. It makes our world a lot smaller, and you know, it makes life interesting because we can learn about people and cultures that we otherwise might not have a chance to learn about, which is awesome. So Bidchat is changing social media for good. You can check out the pro-social movements going on Bidchat and the celebrity broadcasts that are happening all week long in relation to Rock the Vote and Vote Latino. I hope that you'll check those out, as I have, and they're really exciting to watch, and they're raising money for some great causes. With that said, I want to remind you to tune in next Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 10 a.m. on the West Coast. We're going to talk more about music and the topics that I covered on this show in greater detail, as well as talking about health and preparing your kids for cold and flu season, regardless of their age. We're going to talk about both sides of the equation, both the holistic route as well as the vaccine route, and more traditional medicines. So you can go ahead and call into the show and weigh in. If you're an expert that deals with medical issues, feel free to call into the show or send me a message if you have any statistics you'd like to share or information that you want to share with me. I would love to hear from you. And of course, I want to remind you before I head out with this broadcast, don't forget about this week's contest. It's not too late to enter. You have until Sunday, this coming Sunday, October 2nd at midnight to enter. All you have to do is make sure you're signed up for an account, click the heart to follow this show, and send me a private message on here on Bidchat. Click that little text icon bubble next to the heart and type WIN, W-I-N, and I will automatically enter you into the contest. I'll write your name down from the private message. I'll see your name in the private message. And I'll put you into a hat, and I will draw a name from that hat next Monday live at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, or sometime between 1 and 2 when that broadcast ends next Monday, October 3rd. So I hope that one of you is a winner. I wish you good luck. Not many people have entered so far, so you have a great chance to win a free book from Usborne Books. And if you're curious to see what books you have a chance to choose from, you can go ahead and check out The Break for Moms on social media. Again, Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at The Break for Moms with the number 4, or on my blog, www.thebreakformoms.com, and you can see a little bit more about the contest, read about the contest, and hear about Usborne Books and my personal consultant, Emily Tosh, and you can send her any of your questions. I have her contact information up on the blog as well. So I encourage you to read to your children. We talked about literacy this week and nonfiction, especially. If you're having trouble getting your kids to read nonfiction, check out Usborne Books. They are not paying me to say this. I am not a consultant. It's just a great book company, and it was a great way to talk about Usborne Books and have a contest to reward one of my viewers for watching. So thanks again for watching, and I can't wait to see you next week, and I hope that I'll meet you on Bidchat as I close out this broadcast, which is live. I'm gonna play my theme song. It's a super cute song. It's called Bright Positive, but for me, it's just a motivational song to celebrate motherhood and parenting. So enjoy the music while I close out this broadcast, and see you next week. Bye.